All the voices in my head getting louder. They told me not to tell you, but they're itching for the powder. Got that blurry vision, seeing double. Yeah, I love you, but you're all trouble. I'd be lying if I said I didn't love it. Carved a couple holes in my heart, so fuck it. And with all the chemicals, whoa, now they're falling too far, falling too far. I keep going back to you.
It's Andrew Bound coming to the stripe. Stone Cooley's right there with him. Checkered flag is out. Who gets it done? It's a photo finish for Brands Hatch coming to the line.
It's going to push. I don't know. This is going to be a photo finish.
Oh, Stone Cooley taking the checkered flag the inside. Who's it going to be? It's a photo finish. Give it to Brendan Burt. Conquers Watkins Glen. Gets turned across the line.
Thank you for joining us, folks. Thank you very much for staying tuned. It's a pleasure. Round 8 brings the West Coast Sim Racing GR86 field to a circuit where commitment and momentum have at Road Atlanta. From the blind climb through turn 1 to the rapid changes of direction, this is a track that constantly asks the driver to trust the car. In the GR86, that challenge begins. Because every missed apex, every unnecessary lift, a speed. The long back straight will bring draft into play. Turn 7 will be critical for launching an attack. The final run through the chicane beneath the bridge will punish anyone greedy. By round 8, the championship picture gets clearer, but the pressure is only getting heavier. With 23 drivers on the grid tonight, every mistake costs you. And Road Atlanta. This is West Coast Sim Racing, round 8 with the Toyota GR86 at Road Atlanta. That's Blue Racing. Welcome in, folks. Welcome to Brazelton, Georgia, the foothills of the Blue Ridge Rocky Mountains. 12 corners, 7 to the right, 5 to the left, and 120 feet of elevation change the natural terrain. Gonna give the drivers a roller coaster-like feel and a favorite amongst the drivers. Couple keys to the race for them to figure out: carry momentum through the S's. That's key number 1. Key number 2 is make turn 7 count. Key number 3 is use draft without giving up the position. Respect the final corner is key number 4. Welcome in, folks. Welcome in, Mr. Brooks. Thank you very much for the compliment. Appreciate you, sir. Let's take a look at where the drivers stand before we get too far into the session. Find out that Jeremy Fletcher is the one topping the charts still with 210 points. Slater Colby with 162 points. Brandon Birch with 159. Jeffrey Davis with 151. Stone Colby with 137. Edwin Onofre with 123, not too far off a championship run, but needs some help. Cantor, Colby, Cunningham, and Rainey round out our top 10 before we head into Road Atlanta. And edit respect, all I have to say to that is no you. No, you are the cutest. It is Jeremy Fletcher, our championship leader right now, topping the charts. Jeffrey Davis in P2, but he's resting in pit lane and calling it Dunzo in the Unzo for the last 3 minutes of the session. Mr. Birch, you can call me that. It's actually what my dad calls me, so it's quite apt that you call me Sog. I appreciate it, Mr. Birch. I appreciate you doing that. Checking in and clearing the air, but look at this grid of drivers here in Braselton tonight that are here to impress us. We have a couple of key overtaking zones tonight. Turn number one and turn number 5 being the biggest opportunities as we see Alexei Andreu cut off there at the exit of turn 7. Nathaniel Redmond coming through the back of the track right now and about to cross the line. Let's see if we can go on board with Redmond to see what it's like to go through a lap around Road Atlanta. Coming through turn 1, it's a bit wide and able to get overtake moves done, but through turn 2 and turn 3, you have to get settled in single file line. But after that, it's down the hill, plummeting through the S's. Avoiding off tracks is going to be a challenge for the drivers to go back, left, right, left, again and again. All the way up the hill to turn 5, using all the runoff road that you possibly paid for here in iRacing. And the run to turn 6 allows some opportunity, but the off-camber nature on exit results in a little bit of undulation in the car. Same thing for turn 7, a little bit of undulation as you crest over the curb coming through the apex. On the run down the back stretch, it's going to be a little bit lame back here because you have time to check your mirrors and just keep the pedal to the metal. Using the draft will be important on this run through turn 9 and on the run down to turn 10A and turn B. This run to turn 10A and 10B is critical because it leads into the most blind section on the racetrack. Turn 11 and turn 12. The top of the hill is blind, but you need to stay committed to the racetrack. Otherwise, you're going to lose out a ton of speed. Nathaniel Redmond's last lap around 132.39 could not improve from 8th place right now. That'll be the end of the session, folks, and we'll get the drivers gridded up here in just a moment. On the first row, it's going to be Jeremy Fletcher and Jeffrey Davis. Following Davis, it's going to be Slater and Marvin Semayoa. Semayoa has been running really well the past 2 runs. See if he can continue. Birch and Colby, line P5 and 6. Cantor and Redmond Cantor up in P7. Clancy Garvin amongst the OMTV crew alongside Edwin Onufree, Joe Rainey, and Connor Cunningham in the 502. LaShawn Young Dilworth in the 888. And after that, it'll be Nico Colby and Brendan Pisola. Pisola is a newcomer to the category, but no stranger to the GR86. Darren Colby and Jensen McKelkey, 47 and 41 respectively. Christian James and Glen Bratton in row 9. Row number 10 for Warren Johnson and Alexei Andreu. Jacob Bolland and Jason Holcomb in the following row. But man, oh man, I am out of breath now. Let's see what the drivers can do as we start this one off. The driver from Antarctica might be cold as ice on the racetrack tonight. Get rolling. I am so excited. This is one of my favorite tracks in the entire planet. 2.54 miles or 4 kilometers in length. I still don't know what a kilometer is, but here in Brazelton we count in cheeseburgers, and it's 2.52 with an altitude of only 1,000 feet. The drivers aren't going to have to deal with any elevation change other than the track conditions, resting in at 130 feet. Green, green, green is the flag color, waving from Barney. And now Jeffrey Davis tries to go wheel to wheel with Jeremy Fletcher, but the outside line at turn 1 isn't necessarily want to be. A little bump and run in the background. I think Slater Colby had a little bit of help there. The number 25 in the background, it's going to be Marvin Samayoa. Look at there, it's Brandon Birch trying to shake and bake, get things done early on in the opportunity. It's green and clean up here, but what about further down the order? Jensen McKelkey and Alexei Andreu in the number 19, up 5 positions, and maybe slow and steady up and down the order, but up here it's a little bit hectic as we see Jensen McKelkey is leading a battle of cars. It will be McKelkey in front of, or excuse me, that's Luke Cantor in front of Edwin Onufree and Clancy Garvin. Edwin Onufree, Joe Rainey caught up in this mix right now, and Nathaniel Redmond trailing. Hectic are the battle packs right now as we've got 23 drivers taking to the grid. Here comes Jeffrey Davis on Jeremy Fletcher to the outside line, coming through the kink. A little bumping and banging doors right now as the battle for first spices up a little bit. Davis giving a little bit of love and rubbing back the way he is raced, trying to get a switchback engaged for turn 10B, but he can't get the overlap there. It will be Davis in P2 and Fletcher up ahead, but look at back. It's Brendan Birch to the inside line coming to the final corner, and that's going to result in terror as he goes to the wall on exit. Marvin Samayoa collected up in that one as well. Will lose a handful of positions, down 6 on his run. Oh, big spin there from Jeremy Fletcher, and it looks like he did it all on his own, but he's able to recover side by side through the S's. Jeremy Fletcher's going to the grass. He's cutting the track, but he's managing to keep it clean somehow, some way. Slater Colby is now up into P2 in front of Luke Cantor. It's getting crazy here in Brazelton, folks. Cantor gets a little help from behind. Jeffrey Davis, the nightmare himself. The number 7 gets a touch, and I think that was Birch being the culprit, and he goes round at turn number 7, and keeping the pedal down is going to be Clancy Garvin in the background. He's got Joe Rainey to contend with right now. What can Joe Rainey do coming down into 10? Coming down towards turn 10, it looks like the leaders have nothing to do about it, but the spin comes out from the 17 of Joe Rainey. He's able to recover, get back onto the racetrack, but not without catching out Nathaniel Redmond in the likes of it. Jensen McCalkey in the Birds Aren't Real machine, going wheel to wheel with Warren Johnson of West Coast Sim Racing. Number 24 is not too shabby on the evening, up 7 positions on the gain currently, so healthy positions gained and hopefully holding on. But Jeffrey Davis is trying to thwart any attempt of Warren Johnson, finishing this one with lucky number 7 next to that door panel. Big wiggle there from Jeffrey Davis, but up ahead, it's going to be Stone Colby and the 52 getting a spin. I think that was Cantor in the Dynaco machine. And I'm not sure who was getting their elbows out first, if it was Cantor or if it was the 52 of Stone, but it ends in tears for fears nonetheless. Christian James locked in battle with Jason Holcomb right now. They're nose to tail, and their battle is for 15th and 16th position. Now they'll look to the inside line, as the move was very much able to be on, but better minds or cooler heads will prevail in this one. Up ahead, Joe Rainey in his recovery drive as he tries to get back onto the curb and duke it out with Warren Johnson, who's right up ahead. Slow down there from lucky number 7 of Jeffrey Davis, serving that one tactfully as he comes through the first corner. Will be Joe Rainey to cut through like a knife, but get onto the grass as he cuts through in front of Warren Johnson. It won't stick there as he falls back. We do have LYD and Jeffrey Davis running 14th and 15th position right now, as what's happened to Birch as he's gone off at turn 5, getting up there to the barriers. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Birch in the replay as he comes over the crest at turn 5. He might have gotten a tight tap there from Cantor, or the 18 of Cantor, but can't really tell from that angle, but he ends up going off wide and into the barrier at the end of the day. Daniel Redmond involved in a little bit of trouble now with Christian James and Jason Holcomb. The three-way squabble still unsettling between the three of them. Up ahead, Slater Colby leads Jeremy Fletcher around the racetrack, and will the 25 get a little bit more room racing? A few others against Fletcher. Fletcher with an incredible save down the hill through the S's. Unbelievable catch there. I just still cannot believe how he was able to keep the car beneath him. On board with Colby coming down the hill now, but we have to check in with what's happened to Warren Johnson because he's off at turn 3. It all started at turn 1 where he goes a little bit deep and wide. It doesn't look like he was helped on this occasion, and the 502 of Connor Cunningham is there to pick up the pieces after that one. Let's look at the lap times here. Edwin Onofre is the fastest of the few at the front right now as he catches. Jeremy Fletcher is under attack from Nico Colby. Going to attack Jeremy Fletcher now. Got the top of the hill as the positions become inverted. Luke Cantor has been sitting back and waiting quietly in P3, and I don't think he wants to mount an attack soon. Just bide his time. Top of the hill, run single file 1 through 4 right now, but it's here that we have a little bit more drama in action. Jeffrey Davis ahead of Connor Cunningham and LaShawn Young Dilworth, or LYD. Joe Rainey trails and Nathaniel Redmond in that 303. Rainey almost goes off the racetrack at the bottom of the hill, but change for the lead again as Slater Colby goes wheel to wheel with the likes of Jeremy Fletcher. To the outside of turn 7 isn't necessarily where I'd make a move stick, but it seems like the 25 knows better of the situation. Luke Cantor sees the side-by-side from the drivers up ahead and knows that they will have a poor run all the way down to turn 10. He'll try to take advantage of the situation and get at least one position as Jeremy Fletcher slots in behind Slater. 2x2 in towards 10A. The 18 holds the inside line, but will it be enough? And the 25, and it'll be the 9-9 of Edwin Onofre going 3 wide across the top of the hill. Turn 12 is where drama unfolds, and Edwin Onofre slingshots his way into P1. Now that Onofre knows how to make that move work, he needs to make it stick across the stripe for the final time. The 25 leapfrogs his way at turn 1 ahead of Edwin Onofre, Jeremy Fletcher, and Luke Cantor, all in the mix still. Here in the background, steep battle packs are forming of 4-5 cars locked in battle with each other. The draft playing a huge part in tonight's conversation. Biggest gainer tonight on the evening might be this guy right here, Alexei Andreu, the number 19, up 13 positions on his run this evening. Fletcher and Colby exchange a little bit of paint there at turn 10. They come together like 2 sticks trying to start a fire. Fletcher tries to turn in, but Cantor occupied that real estate. And got a little bit of respect there from Fletcher. 3 wide going into turn 1. Could be a helter-skelter moment, but not for these 3. At the front, Cantor gives a tight touch there to Slater Colby that sends him wide, and we will go 3 wide up the hill through turn 2 and have been to the braking zone of 3. The 25 and the 18 are left to duke it out. 25 of Slater Colby up ahead, but it will be the 22 of Jeremy Fletcher and Luke Cantor to go wheel to wheel down the hill through the S's. We saw Fletcher cut the course earlier on. He does it again and doesn't get a track cut violation for it. Slots in behind Cantor, but now under threat from Onofre. Onofre getting the move done on Fletcher back up into P3. I am absolutely breathless tonight, folks. The drivers are leaving it all out on the tarmac. And who knows what's going to unfold next. Marvin Semayoa and Brendan Pesola here on the racetrack are exchanging a couple of paint schemes, as it will be the defense there of Semayoa, but to no avail, as the newcomer Pesola going to be striking while the iron is hot. Semayoa is able to defend before we get to the final corner. But Pesola striking again and again. Up ahead, Slater Colby, Luke Cantor, and Jeremy Fletcher still locked in arms. Fletcher a little further back than he'd like to be right now, but it's Edwin Onofre who's trying to catch up to the duo in the lead. Bobbing and weaving from Slater to try to shake off the draft from Cantor behind. Fletcher in tow now. Too far back to make anything happen there, but what about Nathaniel Redmond and Jensen McKelkey as McKelkey goes through on Redmond? The bottom of the hill at turn 10. It will belong to the Birds Aren't Real machine. Colby, Cantor, Fletcher, and Onofre all crest turn 3 together. Down the hill through the S's. All take different lines trying to optimize their run. Tor shakes off the draft. Looks to the inside line, but Fletcher is there. Even further to the inside line. And he's going to touch Cantor. Jeremy Fletcher's going to have a big moment. Cantor is going to go wide on exit of 7. Rejoin the racetrack behind Brandon Birch. Fast and Furious has the time gone by, and Slater Colby is going to take the win by a country mile. Edwin Onofre in P2. What a run tonight for this field. Slater Colby is going to cross the line and take the win tonight in front of Edwin Onofre and Brandon Birch, clinching out a podium. Battles all the way to the line with Jeffrey Davis, Alexei Andreu, Nathaniel Redmond, Connor Cunningham, Joe Rainey, Darren Colby, Jensen McKelkey, Nico Colby, Stone Colby, Warren Johnson, Jacob Bolin, Jason Holcomb, LYD, Glenn Bratton, Christian James, and Clancy Garvin. Here's going to be a replay of Nathaniel Redmond's crash coming to the bottom of the hill, and it looks like that was caught up with none other than Joe Rainey, the number 17. This was at the beginning of the race. Here's what sent Connor Cunningham down the order coming in through turn 1. It looks like it went wrong for the 502 driver. 502 on the outside there at turn number 1. Doesn't look like he gets any help from this angle, but perhaps he does. The 16 looking like a menace behind. And the 502 just gets a bit loose, perhaps getting on the throttle a little too soon. And rear wheel drive just kicking in front of the 888 of LYD. Here's what happened to Jeffrey Davis, the Nightmare. Coming into turn 6 is where things started to go wrong. Touch in the tushy there from Brendan Birch. That send him a little deep. 73 in the background, trying to cure the run there, but to no avail. It's no doing for Clancy Garvin. He'll have his own incident in just a moment. Here's Clancy Garvin's excursion off the racetrack. Let's see what happened here. Oh, pulled over. So interesting solution. Hopefully everything's all right with Clancy Garvin as we are getting the drivers gridded up. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for staying tuned. It's a pleasure to be with you guys as always on behalf of West Coast Sim Racing. I'm your host, Sagar Bakshi, on behalf of AK Esports tonight. I'm your host, Sagar Bakshi, bringing you all the live pictures and coverage behind the mic as well. Thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, get notifications for when we go live next. Let's take a look at that starting grid, shall we? It's going to be Slater Colby and Edwin Onofre on that first row. Then following them, it'll be Birch and Fletcher. After Fletcher, Luke Cantor and the newcomer, Brendan Pisola. Welcome into the field. Marvin Semayoa and Jeffrey Davis. Row 4. Row number 5 belongs to Alexei Andreu, Nathaniel Redmond. Row number 6 for Connor Cunningham and Mr. Joe Rainey from Rainey Homes. Number 7 going the way of Darren Colby and Jensen McKelkey. For McKelkey, it's Nico Colby and Stone Colby. Number 9 occupied by Warren Johnson and Jacob Ballin. For Ballin, it'll be Jason Holcomb and LYD. After LYD, Glenn Bratton and Christian James. Following James, it's going to be none other than Clancy Garvin. We're ready to go. Green, 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 folks. Green, 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 and Onofre leapfrogs his way up into P1 already around the outside. He tries to go just like two trailer park girls like Eminem said. That's the way the cookie crumbles for Onofre to the outside. Turns into the inside for the following corner. Not here at Road Atlanta. The hammer is down. Colton Juarez says, there goes over the curves the number 25 of Slater Colby. But Edwin Onofre has the better run. Side by side in the back between Birch and who is that in the blue car? That's Brendan Pisola. Brendan Pisola, look at him go. He hasn't gained anything, but he hasn't lost anything in either. The finish man is running green and clean tonight here at West Coast Sim Racing. Luke Cantor and Joe Rainey about to go wheel to wheel through turn 6, but it will be the 17 in front of the 18. 7th and 8th place getting a little bit dicey right now, as it will be the 17 ahead of the 18. Side by side all the way down the backstretch, but it will be side by side for a few drivers down the backstretch as the battles begin to brew. Luke Cantor knows Joe Rainey is a capable and worthy opponent. Later on the brakes, the Dynaco machine through and through on the Joe Rainey or Rainey Homes Racing machine. Nico Colby further down the order than I think he'd like to be in that number 16, but he's already up ahead through and through on the 502 of Connor Cunningham. Pisola now forcing the issue up ahead with Brandon Birch. Nearly runs into the nightmare Jeffrey Davis. Ends up running wide on the exit of turn number 1. To rejoin alongside Luke Cantor. Cantor leaves enough room on the outside there. Stay single file as a short and sweet car. Pretty snazzy out there, I must say. How you doing, Brendan Pisola? How you doing? Looking further down the order for the 472 or the 427 as my dyslexia kicks in. Jason Holcomb in his Toyota. One position lost for now. Up ahead, Marvin Semayoa in a bit of trouble with the Birds Aren't Real. Jensen McKelkey. Birds Aren't Real, says McKelkey, and he's going to make that GR86 turn into one here in a moment as we go over the crest. He starts to become airborne. Up ahead, Jeffrey Davis tries to get things done, but so does Jeremy Fletcher as he mounts a charge for the lead. Looks at the inside line with a bit of a stamp and ascend to the inside at turn 10. He loses traction though on exit. It allows Onofre to snap right back. The draft was important and helpful to get him down to 10, but no help on mid-corner and on exit. Jeremy Fletcher chases down Edwin Onofre, now wheel to wheel through turn 1, the 7, the Nightmare. Jeffrey Davis gives Jeremy Fletcher a little bit of love there. On exit, Onofre catches a little bit of grass, but I don't think that's what Milena was talking about the other day. The 18 and the 22, wheel to wheel down the hill through the S's. We've seen this go right, we've seen this go wrong, but it goes right this time around as Fletcher continues to charge up and down the field. Jeffrey Davis might be the hard charger on the evening with 5 positions gained, but it will be his teammate of Clancy Garvin, the true masterclass run of 6. Onofre back up in front of Slater Colby. Jeffrey Davis in 3rd position. Look at Alexei Andreu as well as he dukes it out with Stone Colby in the number 52. Things are going right for Alexei up until now. It'll be 2 positions lost actually for Alexei. A little bumping in the background there, but it will be Colby up to P2 and Jeremy Fletcher in the background diving and dodging his way as he looked to the inside line from way far back. Jeffrey Davis. A little bit of trouble here as we see cars going slower than they should over the top of the hill. OID in the 888, gaining 4 right now as he escapes cleanly. Warren Johnson, 24, chases down Darren Golpe, but the eyes still need to remain up here as it's fast and fierce. Top 5. Road Atlanta is fast and flowing. In nature, to say the least, and the drivers are doing their absolute best right now to do what they can. Keep it on the tarmac. You can see the cars just getting loose on mid corner, and I think that's one of the things that Fletcher likes about the GR86. Let's see if we can look on board. Now, gyro, we have the best view in the house of the battle up ahead. The 7 of Jeffrey Davis, the bumping and banging begins, and Jeremy Fletcher barges a driver out of his way. It will be Slater Colby getting the worst for wear on that occasion. Jeffrey Davis now in a bit of trouble. Sees Pasola up ahead, but it's Joe Rainey occupying the rear view mirrors. The 6 drivers here all duke it out, but Cantor makes a mistake at the exit of turn 5. And the JFR machine of Jeremy Fletcher works his wheels up to P2. Well, the Jaws music begins to play, folks. Fletcher chases down Onofre down the backstretch. Chasing no longer. Alongside, yes. Cantor sticking his nose where it shouldn't belong, potentially. But here at West Coast Sim Racing, we can go 3 wide and get through cleanly. Onofre with a little bit of a slip up there on exit, tries to defend the inside line. 3 wide down the bottom of the hill. This is absolutely nuts, folks. Look at them go across the stripe. Jeremy Fletcher tries to work his wheel and stay out in front, but it might be to no work as Edwin Onofre is there ready to mount his attack. Brendan Birch, the 36, hasn't been here this entire time until now. All this battling is brewing has brought along the likes of 10 cars into the mix to battle for P1. We go wheel to wheel down into turn 6. And the breathtaking view at turn 7. Onofre gets loose on exit. Goes way down low. We'll be pushing and shoving. Birch now into the lead of this one. I'm not sure that's where you want to be. Back over to the blimp. You get the best view in the house of the drivers side by side coming through the best part of the track, the blind crest of the final corner. Turn number 12 and 11. And now the run into turn 1, the 7, the nightmare. Jeffrey Davis trying to throw shade at Jeremy Fletcher, but no doing at turn 1 this time around. Luke Cantor up in front of the lead of this one by a country mile. LYD getting moves done with Warren Johnson here, the number 24 driver. Wheel to wheel out of 7, but Clancy Garvin in that 73 watches on as he helps his teammate now get pushed to the apex of turn 10. Pushing and shoving doesn't help him at all, and they all slot in behind Warren Johnson for now. Jeremy Fletcher chases down Luke Cantor right now. Tensions are high in this race, absolutely. Brendan Pasola side by side, the Brendan versus the Brandon. Who's going to come out on top of the Battle of the Bees? Birch, Pasola in the background. It's going to be Joe Rainey and Stone Colby. Looks like Birch is able to cover off Pasola for now. Nico Colby chases down, or is chased down by Connor Cunningham. Colby as well. Clancy Garvin in this mix-up. It's in behind Warren Johnson, gingerly looking for an opportunity to get by West Coast Sim Racing leader. Drivers all coming over the hill of turn number 5. Things starting to settle down a little bit, allowing us all to catch our breath and relax. As we said, chat, Oliver Brooks is right. Tensions are high this race. Everybody's looking to make a stamp in the championship. Only a few races remaining. The championship fight remains tight. Here comes the 52 on Mr. Joe Rainey and Rainey Homes, but the battle between the leaders as Cantor goes into deep at turn 10A. On 10B, he has to defend back the nightmare of Jeffrey Davis. good on the racetrack between Cantor, Davis, and Birch, Pasola, Colby, Rainey, Samioa, McKelkey, Onofree, Colby, Cunningham, Colby, Dilworth, Garvin, Johnson, Colby, Andreu, James, Bratton, Boland, Holcomb. That's not even all of them. Nathaniel Redmond, the 23rd driver on the grid tonight. Side by side as Cantor tries to get a switchback on Fletcher. Fletcher parks it on the apex and says, no way, Jose, that ain't gonna happen. Cantor gets more than 2 wheels off the grass. He will lose his run all the way down to the bottom of the hill at turn 10. What can he do to defend his position? P4 is where he sits now as Birch claims the podium spot, and things go awry as Birch tries to clear a couple of cars, and that will be the 36 caught up in a big one. Go battle for the lead. Jeremy Fletcher now rests behind the nightmare of Jeffrey Davis. Birch no longer in the conversation. Unfortunately, the 22 and the 7 now going to be the highlights of the show. Brendan Pasola actually might become my driver of the day, not just because of that paint scheme that he's got is so snazzy, but because he is gaining 3 positions and might be his debut podium championship as well. Let's see if he can run his cards out tonight. Fletcher defends back Jeffrey Davis, the Antarctican driver who's as cold as ice at turn 6, but can't do it at turn 7 because Pasola is there, ready to mount an attack, but he can't get a good enough exit. And Cantor now back up into P3. What can Cantor do as we go 3 abreast down the back stretch? It will be Cantor, Fletcher, Pasola, all behind Jeffrey Davis. Down the mountain she'll come. Going to come out on top is still the question. Jeffrey Davis tries to cover off the likes of Jeremy Fletcher, who has the momentum and the run. 4 abreast down into 10, and we all make it through green and clean somehow, some way. The drivers are well equipped to handle anything thrown at them. 3 wide coming down the hill as we have 12 drivers battling for the lead right now. Jeremy Fletcher grabs a hold of the lead. I don't think he'll let go. He's forced to. Jeffrey Davis almost had to let go of P2, and Stone Colby was the driver to grab it and snatch it out of his hands, but rock is his, he says. Jeremy Fletcher having to defend back the likes of Jeffrey Davis and pushing him out to the grass, and Davis tries to garnish a little bit of real estate on the racing surface. Coming out of 7, but Stone Colby was a little reluctant to give him the racing room. Oh no, drama for Samioa and Connor Cunningham as they go off in the background. It will maintain the ground for the rest of the field. Jeremy Fletcher is almost unscathed by that. He's still down 2, but now has his fiercest opponent alongside him or with him on the racetrack, battling for real estate here in Braselton, Georgia. Prices are going to be driven high as Jeremy Fletcher and Nico Colby battle for every last home here along the racetrack. Up ahead, it's the 52 and Brendan Pasola. Comer. Look at Stone Colby with 15 positions gained right now. Unbelievable run. Speaking of runs, look at the run that Cantor has. The fence there from the 52, but back over to the racing line goes Stone Colby. Edwin Onofre works his way back up into third. Nightmare Jeffrey Davis in fourth position for the number 7. Battles up here include Cantor and Stone. Cantor tries to go for P1 at the top of the hill. It will belong to him. Just a big asterisk alongside that note. Says for now in the fine print. Nico Colby and Slater Colby longer together as Nico looks forward to battling with Jeffrey Davis, the Nightmare. What happened to Fletcher? He went off the track at turn 1 and loses a little bit of ground. Glenn Bratton, Darren Colby, and Alexei Andreu trapped in their own combativeness. Battlefield here at turn 6. 47 tries to mount over the curves, but slows down the run. Looks at the inside line for turn number 7. Darren Colby on the attack. A little eager beaver to get a move done on Glenn Bratton. Up ahead, Stone Colby and Luke Cantor have their run settled down towards turn 10. On the brakes again for the 52 as he gives the pinch to the 18 of Cantor. Cantor says, yes, I will take what is given right now, and the outside line is mine. American Dynacup driver is work the wheel and try to stay on the racetrack through the final corner, maintains his ground. Here comes Onofre to try to force a 3-wide situation coming in towards turn 1. It will be Cantor and Colby and then Onofre. Onofre in the background trying to make it 3 abreast coming into the top of the hill at turn number 3. Backs out of it, thinks better of the situation. That's discretion as the better part of valor if I've ever seen it. Jeffrey Davis exchanging a little bit of paint with the white. Nico Colby's paint job, so a little bit of red left over, and there's going to be a little bit of red and blue left over on the number 16 as he gets some love from a teammate of Jeremy Fletcher from Copeland Motorsports. Fletcher up the road now. What can he do? P5. Here we go, the 52 and the 18. Gonna leave a little bit of more room than they need to and slow down their run coming up the hill. It will be Stone Colby making the mistake, but 3 abreast at the top of the hill and then plummeting down the 120 feet of elevation down the hill across the stripe. Edwin Onofre's out in front, but it won't be for naught because Stone Colby is alongside. Luke Cantor in tow, the number 18, and we only have a few minutes left of racing. Now, how many opportunities are the drivers going to get at the end of the day? It'll only be a handful left. Edwin Onofre took advantage of the ones that were given at this opportunity. Cantor, what can he do? What was given to him at the end of the day? For StockVehicleBuyers.com machine. Cantor and Colby wheel to wheel coming through turn number 5. They exchange blows. 3 abreast as Cantor squeezes the nightmare of Jeffrey Davis. Jeffrey Davis a nose ahead up into P2, but he's got to keep it just pitch perfect if he wants to get in front of both of them, and he does get it pitch perfect. Onofre has a little bit of a slip and slide moment. So does the 25. It's disaster for the 52 and the 18 of Luke Cantor coming out of turn 7. Battle's not quite over yet as Fletcher fights for a podium. Onofre may be out of striking distance on this occasion, 2.4 seconds up the road. Jeffrey Davis, though, still under threat from Fletcher. Jeffrey Davis and Jeremy Fletcher here and now on that first and second row. Trying to do the commentator's math in my head to find out how many laps of racing we have left. I think it'll be this one plus one more, and Fletcher with a big wiggle on exit of turn number 7, but he's able to keep it clean behind Jeffrey Davis. Big moment for the 7. The nightmare gets taken out. Jeffrey Davis has a big one coming down the back stretch. Jeremy Fletcher in P2. Bratton and Alexei Andreou. Alexei Andreou has been catching up to Glen Bratton for some time. Finally get the move done at the bottom of the hill, turn 10B. Alexei Andreou in P16. LYD and touching a little bit of grass there on entry with Clancy Garvin, his teammate. There's Brendan Pasola, the driver that was screaming accolades about earlier on in this event. Number 12, down 9 positions now in 15th position. Couple of incidents for the stewards to review post-race. We'll leave it to them to decide what went wrong and what went right. But here's Cantor and Warren Johnson, hopefully not having a similar result of some of the incidents we've seen tonight of some hard racing. But mistakes are bound to happen when fighting gets fierce. Edwin Onofre leads by a country mile right now. 3.2 seconds is no stretch of the imagination. A small margin. Here comes Slater and Joe Rainey. Nancy Garvin trying to make up ground. 10 positions gained right now is not too shabby of a gain for Garvin. He started from the back of the pack. His way forward, now getting one done on Warren Johnson. Take a look at the background. There's LYD shaking and baking and following his teammate through on Warren Johnson. More moves to be made in the final closing minutes of this one. Take a look here at Joe Rainey. Under threat from Fletcher now. How is this gonna end? Coming down into the final few corners. Edwin Onofre is halfway through the lap right now. 3-second advantage to Slater Colby, in the 25, and there goes Jensen McKelkey in the background, getting a couple wheels off into the dirt, but getting it right at the end of the day. Here comes Fletcher, threatening Rainey Holmes Racing in the number 17. Push from behind, but Fletcher backs off as Rainey goes deep in towards the 10 and 10B. Clean and green, but it's gonna go the way of Edwin Onofre to claim P1 and victory today. Slater Colby in P2, Joe Rainey in third, Jeremy Fletcher in fourth, McKelkey in fifth, Brandon Birch in sixth, Samayoa in seventh, Nico Colby, Jeffrey Davis, Luke Cantor, Stone Colby, Clancy Garvin, LYD, Warren Johnson, Pasola, Cunningham, Alexei Andreu, Glenn Bratton, Jacob Boland, Darren Colby, Christian James, Jason Holcomb, and Daniel Redmond. Let's take a look at the results from the feature race. It would be Edwin Onofre, Slater Colby, and Joe Rainey. Clancy Garvin gets the Hard Charger Award with 12 positions gained. Edwin Onofre with the most laps led. Fastest lap goes to Luke Cantor, and after third, it'll be Jensen McKelkey in fourth. Brandon Birch, Marvin Samayoa, Nico Colby, Jeffrey Davis, Luke Cantor, and Stone Colby. After Stone, it'll be Clancy Garvin, LYD, Warren Johnson, Brendan Fasola, Connor Cunningham, Alexei Andreu, Glenn Bratton, Jacob Ballin, Darren Colby, Jeremy Fletcher in P20. After Jeremy Fletcher, Christian James, Jason Holcomb, and Nathaniel. Let's go ahead and talk to the drivers as they finished up their race. First and foremost, we're going to want to go ahead and talk to whoever that came in third. Going to be none other than Mr. Joe Rainey. I feel like we have probably never talked to Rainey before. Mr. Rainey, how are you doing? And Rainey from Rainey Homes came out with a podium and 9 positions gained. Talk to us about your race, Joe.
Oh, it was a little rough, but it was a fun time, and yep, just happened to be in the right spots in a few places and missed a few wrecks, and here we are.
Yeah, and missing a few wrecks was probably one of the keys to the race tonight that I may have missed, as we didn't expect to see so many side-by-side battles. I knew Road Atlanta was going to provide us with a lot of excitement. You know, the turn 1, turn 5, the passing opportunities out of 7 surprised me, and the draft really surprised me as well. Were you ever able to use it to your advantage, or was always a foe to you, Joe?
No, I mean, it's an advantage for sure if you just know racecraft and where to put the car. I mean, that's probably why you've seen so many accidents, is because there's just a lot of guys putting cars in bad spots, or lots of bumps in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is what it is, and a lot of these guys are high, are pretty high I rating guys. So
Oh, yeah.
some days I wonder if they're doing it on purpose or not, and they probably are. So, but it is what it is. It was fun. It was a great race.
And Joe, speak to us about the real life characteristics of the car versus the sim characteristics of the car, and some of the similarities from your experiences.
In this car, the GR86, of course, this car is better than the real car. I mean, it's quite a bit faster. Probably, I don't know. I would say I'm about 5 seconds a lap faster in this car than I am in real
Holy
life
smokes.
on this same track. Um, but it's of course easier to do it in a simulator where you can push the reset button when you crash, so you're not going to drive it that hard when in real life. Um, but yeah, this car actually is really good in the simulator. So it's if you can find the right setup, it does about everything you want it to do.
Seems like you got it to do everything you needed it to do today to get on the podium at the very least. Joe, who would you like to shout out and who would you like to thank on this podium in Brazelton?
I would like to thank Warren for putting this on. Thank you for doing a great job on YouTube, and Rainy Homes Racing. That's it.
Thank you, Joe Rainey, for supporting West Coast Sim Racing. Congratulations on the podium, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Next up, we'll talk to Slater Colby, who had a bit of a roller coaster ride this event and ended up losing one on the good of things behind Edwin Onofre. Talk to us about that race start and maybe what could have gone better for you, Slater.
Yeah, honestly, the race start was good. It kind of just slotted behind Edwin. Honestly, on this track, it's not ideal to be in first with how much draft there is. So, kind of just slotted in behind him, was trying to push him, and then, um, the rest of the 3, 4, 5 guys started, getting on my bumper, and then I came out of 10B a little loose, and then I got it straight, and Jeffrey just, he had momentum and hit the back of me and went straight in the wall, and then I was in the worst spot possible. I was sitting right on that crest area, and I had to wait for the entire field to go by. So I went back to last, which was I think like 21st or something, and then was able to work my way back up to second. Luckily, I was dodging some crashes and finally got back in the tow. But yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was a good first heat. Was able to win that one, so I'll go 1-2 on the night. Based on what we had to do.
And something that was interesting tonight that I almost didn't even realize, there was no safety car in this event, but it felt like there was one that brought in the likes of guys like you, that brought in the likes of Joe Rainey back into the mix. Even Brandon Birch able to climb back up into P6. So just really amazing to see all of these drivers really show their form despite having early incidences or early mistakes take them out. What is it about West Coast Sim Racing that brings out the best?
Honestly, all these guys, we have a really strong pack of guys that are, really fast. And majority of, the group are, very good at racecraft and stuff. And then you'll get some guys up, in the top mix that, they're fast, but their racecraft isn't, the greatest. So that's when the carnage starts to happen. But, everyone learns, and then, obviously when we do these 2 heats, we don't have a safety car, but I will say the safety car when we don't have one is definitely Jeremy. So, he definitely knows how to, back the field up, control the field, keep the guys behind him. So that's definitely what he was doing for a little while. Track's super hard to, if you're about 2.5 seconds back of the group in front of you, it's pretty hard to, catch that toe back in. So it took me a few laps to do that, but I mean, all in all, I'll take it. The guys are getting fast, the racecraft's getting better. Some guys need to work on that still, I think, but I think the king of the pin right now for racecraft is Edwin. So gotta give kudos to him and him grabbing the win tonight.
Absolutely. Who would you like to shout out and who would you like to thank tonight, Slater?
Vehicle buyers, friends and family at home watching, you for broadcasting, and Warren for putting on the league, and JFR, Apex, and yeah, we'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Thank you very much for continuing to support West Coast Sim Racing, Slater. We'll catch you next Wednesday.
See ya.
Next up, it will be Edwin Onofre, the Tech Sport Racing driver in the 199 to take the victory tonight. How does it feel, Edwin, to be on top of such a dramatic race tonight?
It feels pretty good. This is now the first ever win for me in the GR86 series by West Coast Sim Racing. I feel pretty proud. All I did was just basically did the same thing like it was at Bathurst. I just literally played devil's advocate, allowed the field to fight each other, and I just took the opportunity where it was right then and there in the open and entering 10B. Ended up doing that three wide situation, was able to control it, and then from there on out, I was just cruising into the win, and I'm very happy about that. I feel like this was just basically coming along. I was thinking that this was going to happen at some point, not because I was being aggressive, but only because I was just being patient. And especially since in this race, we have seen a lot of people throw in like pushing left and right, shoving, punting, all that stuff. It's how you hold grudges throughout the race. It's that's going to affect your race pace too. That's how I was able to catch up despite all whatever happened between race 1 and race 2. So once it was like lap 17 or 16, I went ahead and just took the opportunity because I had nobody fighting me afterwards. And then from there on out, it was just a win right there written in the books.
Not too shabby, Edwin. On the inaugural win for the GR86 Cup here for West Coast Sim Racing, who would you like to shout out and who would you like to thank, brother?
I'd like to thank Techsport Racing. Thank to them for allowing me to represent on their behalf, especially on the sim racing side. I feel pretty proud in putting the Techsport plate logo in victory lane. Shout out to you, Sagar, for broadcasting, producing, and commentating for this race. For everybody watching on YouTube, which shout out to them as well. Thank you so much for that. Shout out to Warren Johnson, the league owner, and thank you for having me in this competition. This feels pretty fun. I'm looking forward to doing it again. A few of my friends and family, and everybody at Velocity Sim Racing Lounge, which I hope they're going to be watching or put this race up on over there, as well as everybody who's watching on my YouTube and Twitch. Shout out to you guys first and foremost as well. And other than that, that's all I have. Thank you so much for this interview, and we hope to do it again tomorrow or at some point.
Take care, Edwin. Have a great night, and thanks for your support here at West Coast Sim Racing. And congratulations on the victory.
Thank you. Have a good night.
I don't see Mr. Warren Johnson, so folks, with that being said, that's going to wrap things up for us. Tonight, I've been your host, Sagar Bakshi, bringing you all the pictures and coverage on behalf of AK Esports. I want to extend my gratitude to everybody watching live now or in the future. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for staying tuned. It's been a pleasure to take you from green to checkered flag, but all things have to come to an end. Have a great night, everybody, but most importantly, make sure you stay safe out there. Goodbye for now.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever try.